Hi everyone, it's Lauren here. Before I start this video, I just want to say thank you all so much for the all the lovely comments I'm getting on my YouTube channel at the moment. I've been reading through them. There's so many lovely comments, and my subscribers are going up really fast at the moment, which I really appreciate. I'm up to 239 subscribers, which may not sound like much, but to me it's loads because I wasn't even near 200s like at the end of last year. So to be like at 239 subscribers. I'm adding my subscribers up, but to be at 239 subscribers is absolutely amazing. So thank you so much for all the support, guys, and I'm so glad you're enjoying my videos as much as I am enjoying making them. And yeah, today's blog is going to be on the 12 things I regret most from my time at college. This is like from my HNC year, things I regretted not doing or things I regretted doing and all that kind of stuff. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope this helps for you lot who are starting a college course, whether it's a level 5, 6, HNC, whatever you're starting, or if you're even starting at school or uni, this may help for some of you as well. So it's definitely going to be a useful video for a lot of people going into education this year, because I know college is starting in 2 weeks' time, so it'll come in handy for you lot. But yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more content if you enjoy watching it. And once again, thank you all so much for all the support so far on my channel. It means the world to me. But yeah, anyway, let's get into it. Number one is that I wished I dropped the 12 credits sooner than what I did. The reason being was because basically back in January, I was just very stressed out with this entire HNC. I was going through a lot of stress and anxiety. So I was advised that maybe going down to 12 credits was probably the better option. But I thought, I don't want to do 12 credits. Like, that's not good. I want to do my 15 credits. I want to get all my credits. So I have all the possible options there. The thing is, they say to go down to 12 credits for those who are going to first year of university. But I hadn't applied for university, obviously, because I couldn't. I'm such an indecisive person. I'm always changing my mind every 2 seconds. Now, I should do psychology now. Oh no, I want to do social anthropology now. Oh no, I want to do history now. I like change my mind constantly, meaning that like I didn't have a decision in mind. So um, they're asking like what universities have you applied for by any chance, and I hadn't applied for any because that wasn't what I wanted to do. I was wanting to do HND originally, so you have to have 15 credits for HND, which now is biased to move down to 12 because of the anxiety and stress and all that was going through. And then, so they came up with another plan that I can maybe go part time. Unfortunately, this couldn't work due to certain circumstances, which I'm not going to mention on here, but that fell through, so I couldn't do that. So then I had the choice of either sticking at 15 credits and applying for HND, or taking the chance of applying to university late and doing the 12 credits, but there's no guarantee I'd get in because it was past the deadline, because the deadline was in January. This was like in February, so it was like a whole month past the deadline. So the yeah, so it was literally a month past the deadline by the time I was in college. This is like right at the end of February. So it was either that or that. So I had to have a good think about it. And I had like, I thought, would HND be the right option? And I thought the thing is, like, there's certain subjects I was really into in the HNC, but there's certain subjects where I just couldn't keep myself awake during them. I couldn't get any interest in them. So I thought there's probably no point doing HND with a mix of subjects when I could just like take a gap year, take some time to like, because like my mental health is more important than my workloads. Like, I thought taking that gap year, I can like work on my, it gives me time to like work on my mental health. And I think probably the better option would be for me to apply for uni from first year, so I get the full experience and I get to like just focus on the one subjects. I think that'd be a lot better for me rather than trying to like mix between lots of different subjects. And I think in that social anthropology would be good for me because that's the one class where I always paid the most attention, and I always enjoyed that class every session. There was never one session I didn't enjoy social anthropology. I just find it so interesting. Like, I could totally engage in all the conversations and everything. So I think that'd probably be a good one for me. But I haven't fully decided yet because like all my gap year thought, now meant to get into a job that I really enjoy, and I might just want to stick to that. So I want to see how things go. But I thought taking a gap year for my mental health, so I have more time to do blogs, more time to do autism posts, more time to do all the things I love, as well as my hobbies like playing Animal Crossing, writing, reading, stuff like that. Baking as well. I haven't done baking in ages due to like the hot weather as well. So it's not nice to like bake in hot weather, but yeah, I really want to have more time to my hobbies, as well as just a year to like redeem myself and like learn more about myself as well and see more of the world around me, because I feel like being trapped in my room doing online college, I was missing out in the world a lot. there's like a beautiful world. There are so many places to explore. I've already seen so much more of Scotland this summer that I've never seen in my life. Like I went to Inverness. I've never been to Inverness before in my life. I went to Ely. I don't have really been to Ely before. The beach there was quite nice. I went on a boat ride which with Damien a few weeks ago, which was fun. It took us to Isle of May. We didn't get to like go on the island unfortunately due to the bird flu. We went on like a boat ride, which was really fun. But yeah, I've been to different places this summer, which and seen more of the world. Well, not the world, but like my area, which is fantastic. So but I really wished I moved down to 12 credits sooner because if I did, I wouldn't have been going through so much stress with deadlines and work and everything. Psychology totally fell through because like I wasn't really doing very well in assignments at all. Like, and psychology was actually my favorite subject in level 5 as well, but this year it just wasn't working out for me. I was not getting into it at all. I think the site I was just especially the bystander effect. I just could not get my head around it. So I decided the best option was just to drop out the psychology B and just drop down to 12 credits. And it did wonders for my mental health. And it meant that I can have more time for myself. I could like put myself first more, do things for myself more. And it meant I was looking after my health more too, since your health always comes before work. So I wished I did something about it back in like the March rather than waiting all the way till May because I had a lot of stress on myself in those couple of months that could have been taken off me if I like dropped down and accepted the fact sooner that dropping down probably would be a better option for me. So if you get told to drop down to 12 credits, definitely to consider it. Unless you're going to second year of uni, which is probably more of a problem. But if you're just going to first year uni or just taking a gap year, then I recommend just dropping to 12 credits. Do what's best for you because your health always comes before work. And like, it's better to like, because achieving 12 credits on a B is still amazing. You know what I mean? That's what I achieved, and that's still an amazing achievement. That's still like what, 6 advanced higher, so I still did very, very well. It's just, it's better, like they say, it's better to achieve it on 12 credits rather than sticking to the 15 credits and not making it. So I thought that's definitely the better option. And like I said, I wish that I dropped down months before I did it. Like, so if they tell you to drop down to 12 credits, definitely do consider it and have a good think about it. Don't wait for a long, long time like I did. Like it was near the end of the course by the time I dropped down, so I ended up doing on full on essays and just none of them working out when I could have not had to do these essays in the first place because I just put so much pressure on myself and just set the bar too high for myself and stressed myself out. When I could have made things much easier for me, but still have the challenge aspect in place, if you see what I mean. So I wish I dropped down sooner. Next regret is rushing assignments and skipping virtual steps, which would really help towards making a better structured essay. Um, Basically, I would always rush into essays. Like I'd be like, right, need to get this done straight away, and I'd zoom through it. Next thing I knew, I'd done an essay in like 2 days, but it wasn't good quality because I didn't plan it out. I didn't do any drafts. I just jumped right into it. They say do plans, do drafts, do all that stuff. In level 5, you can get away with just jumping straight to the essay because you're only doing like, what, I don't know, like 500-word essays, I guess. But at HNC, sometimes you're doing like up to 2,000-word essays, which is obviously a large word count. You really need to plan out essays like that, especially when you've got, I don't know, like different approaches, different studies, stuff like that. You need to plan out each part so you know exactly what you're doing. Well, I would just jump into it. I'd basically get the paragraph thinking, that's the paragraph I need for that part. I've read it, I know what I'm studying, I'm just going to jump into it and write that into the essay. When actually what I should have done was plan out all my parts first, like get my references together, do my readings, making sure I understand it all, then do like a rough plan, then move on to a draft and draft it many times till the structure of the essay actually flowed. Half the time I'd read my essays and I'd have the information there, but it'd be really hard to read the essay in a way that the structure wasn't very good. Like I'd read it but it'd be very hard to read. It'd be very like it'd be getting the point across, but it'd just be really difficult to read because I put too much like I hadn't like structured it enough. Like so the essay doesn't flow very when you've not like put enough time into like planning an essay. It doesn't flow as well. It's harder to read. So definitely take your time and use all the time that's given because you don't use all the time that's given. Chances are that you'll end up with like a very rushed essay And like if you have plans, for example, say for example you're busy the Friday to Saturday and the essay comes in the Sunday, yeah, hand the essay on the Friday, but like you got to be like have time management and all that. Obviously, that's another thing. That's when time management comes into play, which is another post I'll probably do on my autism page at some point before colleges go back. But yeah, like it's definitely important to plan out your essays before you even start writing them. And if you don't understand certain parts of the essay or there's parts that are confusing you, definitely ask for help and get the help you need before it gets to that point. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to jump into an essay, get to the end and find out, crap, I don't understand what I'm doing with this part. I don't know. I don't understand this information. If you asked for help earlier, then you could have got the help you needed and that wouldn't have happened and you would have had a much better essay overall. So yeah, definitely frequently asking for help as well as which is something else I regret not asking for help enough because it meant that I was suffering mentally and with my work at times, so it wasn't very fun. So yeah, definitely don't jump into the essay, plan it out before. My next regret is suffering in silence at times. It's really, really important to speak up when you're like struggling or suffering in any kind of way. You don't necessarily have to speak to a lecturer about this. You can speak to a best friend, a family member, a student on your course that you get on with really well. It doesn't have to be a lecturer. They're an option, but it doesn't have to be them. You can speak to anyone about this. But basically, I went ages suffering. Basically, I struggled a lot when I first started the HNC as it was. I was finding the work too overwhelming. I was constantly falling behind to the point I was procrastinating, which I actually did a post on over a few weeks ago. Not a few weeks ago, because we're only a couple of weeks into August. I think 2 weeks ago maybe. And I procrastinate. And the thing I'd procrastinate on was always Nintendo Switch. I'd always get out and play Animal Crossing, like, oh, I can't do this. I'll just play a game of Animal Crossing. But it meant I fell behind even more. Well, I just asked for help on the work. I wouldn't have fallen behind. I would have kept up, and I would have seen my potential. So I wish I did that. And then it got to like January. I got so stressed out with the workload. I remember just staring at a computer one day, just staring at it like this, what am I supposed to do? And I was just like so stressed out. And it got to a point that I got so anxious and stressed out that I couldn't even talk to anyone anymore. It was like I was like my mind was a prison. The Alec Benjamin song, Prison. It's like my mind is a prison and I'm never gonna get out. Well, you may not necessarily know it. It's not like massive in this country. He's bigger in America, but it's one of his songs on like one of his albums, and like that's how I felt in that moment of time. It was like my mind was a prison. I couldn't tell anyone about my thoughts. I couldn't speak up in any way. I just felt really trapped to myself, and it was really horrible. So definitely don't get to that point. And then I got even more stressed that my anxiety uplifted even more when I found myself struggling, particularly in psychology, and I couldn't even get the remediation right. And it got to the point that it ended up getting into a call where I had to actually like an emergency call basically, where because I was struggling with psychology so much and there was so much limited time, they were getting stressed about it. And basically this call would have never happened if I just accepted the fact that I need to drop down to 12 credits and to make the workload easier for myself. But because I was constantly putting that added pressure on myself and I wasn't speaking up about my struggles, it meant that it came to a lot of emergency kind of calls with me. With a lot of these calls would have never ever happened if I just spoke up and didn't suffer in silence and didn't like pretend that I was just okay, because that's never good. Like pretending you're okay, nothing bad is happening. Like um they're there to support you. HNC takes a lot of strain on students because of the amount of essays and workload, and like it's important to like speak up if you're like really suffering with it and really not keeping up, because it is a lot to take in. It is. And like I wished I spoke about it more, and I wished I didn't stay so quiet about it, because then I could have got the help way earlier on and it wouldn't have got to these points. So I'm definitely going to speak up more if I go to like university or go into a job or whatever. I'm not going to suffer in silence as much as I did in HNC, because I know how much damage it does. It got to a point that I was even struggling to sleep at night and even struggling to eat breakfast. I couldn't even eat breakfast some mornings, and I was putting studying above everything else because I felt like the only thing that was important was my studying, which was not true at all. My health and my mental health is way more important than any revision or any work. And like, especially in the mental health course, that's what the most important thing is, isn't it? Putting your health before any assignment, which I wasn't doing. So it was causing the stress to really uplift. And if I just spoke out sooner, it wouldn't have come to that. So definitely speak out if you're struggling. My next regret was not taking breaks when I was told to. Well, half the time I would take the breaks, but I'd only take them for like 2 minutes. I'd get a coffee, go to the toilet, but then get straight back to work. When a lecturer tells you to take a 15-minute break, you take a 15-minute break. Because if you don't, you won't you won't be ready for your next class, because your brain needs time to recharge after taking in so much information, you see. So you need that break so that your brain can relax, so your mind can relax, and you just switch off from the work. If you do too much at once, you won't be able to take in all the information. It should, at the end of the day, less is better than more, because like if you just do like 2 hours of work a night, for example, rather than 6 hours a night, you will take in a lot more work, because like you're just doing bits at a time rather than doing loads and loads. Your brain can only process so much at once, so it's important to take those essential breaks, and to have a good study schedule is really important as well, because you don't want to be doing too much work. And I'm the type of person who can get obsessive and start working and working constantly. So I kind of need a schedule, so that one of the best things to do is like set a timer. Say, for example, I'm going to stay for like 45 minutes, set a timer, and then once that 45 minutes is over, take a 15-minute break and do 45 minutes and take a 15-minute break, then have an hour lunch break, and so on. It definitely works better doing something like that. But yeah, definitely take your breaks. Like, it's important to take regular breaks, because if you don't, you won't be able to cope. You'll just get into a ball of stress, really, because you're just doing too much at once, and your brain can only take in so much information at one time. So definitely take your breaks, not just 2 minutes of your break, take your full break, because they give you you give they give you a full they give you 15 minutes or half an hour for a reason, because depending on how much information you've been processing in that class, they'll give you the amount of time based on their judgment of how long that class has been, you see. So they give you that amount of time, always take it, particularly in a course like ours when it's all to do with mental health. They know what they're doing with breaks. My next regret is not talking enough in group activities and not involve myself enough. The reason I regret this is because group work is so important. It's part of how you actually make friends at college and how you engage with others. It also helps, especially at university, because you have group work like all the time at university, they say. So it's good to get used to it while you're in college. The reason I struggle with group work is because I always wanted to be perfect. If I didn't have the perfect answer to something, I'd get really stressed out and think that everyone's going to hate me for it, which isn't true at all, because no one's perfect. Like, everyone makes mistakes, everyone messes up from time to time. It's a part of life. If we're all perfect, why be on that course? There'd be no point. You might as well just go a level up. So it's really important that you make mistakes, because that's how you learn. I was also worried of how people would judge me too, because of my autism, like the way I talk, the way I act. I'd always think, oh, what if they don't like the way I talk or the things I do? What if they think I'm annoying and all that? But I'd always like really be harsh on myself, and it'd hold me back. It'd mean that I wouldn't actually talk to people. I just let someone else take the lead, when sometimes I should have really took the lead, really, because after all, I do all these blogs and everything, so I'm more than capable of like talking in a group. If I can talk on this, I can definitely talk in a group. However, I did make a lot of friends in my HNC year though, through like messaging and that. I've been talking to a lot of people, and there's some really nice people in my course. Well, not some nice people; they're all very nice actually. In fact, all the people in my course are very lovely. We're all very supportive of each other. We even had our very own group chat, which was lovely, because it made you feel less alone. So if you're like struggling with an assignment, you'd see someone else talk about it, and you think, oh, at least it's not only me. So it was nice to feel. And so yeah, we're definitely a very supportive group, and definitely the most supportive like group of people I've had in all my education years so far. So yeah, it was really good having that. I made a lot of friends through that. More so than what I would through like talking. However, it's important to get yourself actively involved in group work, because it boosts your confidence. It makes you feel happier, and you feel satisfied as well. If you don't get an answer wrong, it's fine, because the chances are someone else doesn't know it either. You learn things from each other. Some people may know that answer, you may not know it, but you might know something they don't know. So working in groups means that you can share each other's knowledge, and in a way it really helps you, because like if they don't have a piece of knowledge and they get it from you, that will help them for their assignment. And that might be the piece of the piece of um oh, what do you call it? A piece of information they need for their assignment, and I could get them like jumping up from like a B to an A. So you could have helped them out with their assignment for all you know. So it's definitely important to do group work, and get actively involved. This is how you make friends, and this will help you with your communication and socializing, particularly after lockdown, since we've all struggled to be speaking after lockdown. But like, it's important to get out there and like talk to people because that's how you make friends. The next thing I regret is like not making strong connections with my lecturers and students from day one. And this is actually more a regret I have from level six actually, because when we went to resort to online level six, I felt very isolated and alone. I didn't have anyone to like talk to or anything, because at this point we just like went into lockdown. I only had one lecturer that I was quite close with and connected well from like my level 5 days. She was really, really nice, very supportive and very patient. But apart from that lecture, I didn't really have anyone else I could connect with. And quite honest with you, she was actually the reason I actually stayed on, because she had so much faith and confidence in me. It really boosted me up. Without that, I don't know how I would have got through level six. Like, it was such a hard year. Well, H&C, I had this group chat where people would always talk to each other, and that really, really helped, as well as having better connections with my lecturers, because I'd actually talk to them more. I tried to make more conversation in the group chats. I tried to talk to them more individually and get to know them on a general basis. I tried everything I could to like make more connections, because the thing I regretted most from level six was not making strong connections, because like that's what helps you get through the hard times. Because while I did do pretty well in level six overall, there was times where I really struggled, and if I had more connections, it would have been easier to get through it. But at least I had that lecture, you know. But in HNC, I had absolutely tons of people to like go to if I was feeling really stressed, and it helps so much. Like, and they always boosted me and made me feel like I was really worth it, and it was just an amazing feeling how nice everyone was in like my stream and my classes and everything. All the lecturers and students are all just like so lovely, and I definitely made a lot of good connections in my HNC year, and I've become so friendly with a lot of people that, and I certainly won't forget them or anything. But it's something I did regret a lot from my level 6 days. With my HNC day, I did make a lot of connections. However, a lot of the connections I did make were more in like January, February time when I was going through my worst. Like, I feel like when you're going through your worst times, that's when you see the best or the worst in people. People either treat you really, really lovely like I did before, and you think, if they're treating me this way in my worst times, they definitely deserve to see my best times. And then some people may think, oh, she's annoying, she's getting too stressed out and everything. And those people aren't worth it, because people who are meant to be your friends or meant to connect with you will be there for you in your best and worst times. If they can't be there for you in your times where you're struggling, they should never be allowed to be there for you in the times where you're feeling your best. So, yeah, connections are so important though, because it's important to have that person you can turn to, particularly like on your course. So, I definitely say on the very first day, chat to your lecturers, chat to your other students around you, make conversations with people. I'm not saying you have to go all out there on the first day, because I know it's nerve wracking, it's stressful. Even people, even neurotypicals can get socially exhausted from all the socializing, let alone autistic people, you know. So don't push yourself too much on the first day, but just take like one step at a time. Maybe gradually talk to a couple people on your first day, then try and talk to a couple other people on another day, you know, and just build up from time to time. But try and make it essential to try and get to know people in your first few weeks, and see that as more of an important step than, well, do the work obviously, but see it as more of an important step than like really focusing on the work tasks, because you have all year to work on assessments and tasks. But building those connections are really important from the beginning, so that when things do get really stressful, particularly halfway through the year when assessments build up, you have all that support around you, so that you don't get overwhelmed, you don't start to like feel alone. Another regret of mine is from like halfway through HNC, where I started to take the learning too seriously and not enjoyed it. So, for example, at the start of my HNC course, I would have general conversations with the chat all the time. I would have the time that the lecturer would like ask a question, and my answer would be like totally wrong, or even just a silly answer, because I wouldn't know what to say. Half the time they just laugh about it and not think anything of it. But some of my answers were a bit crazy. I remember on the history pop quiz when they said, um, who's the Loch Ness monster? I can't even remember what Loch Ness monster's name was. Surely I should have remembered it was Nessie, eh? For God's sakes, that's an easy one. But I said Wiggly because I couldn't. His name wouldn't come to me. Then I couldn't remember what the Edinburgh Fringe was called. I'm thinking I should know the Edinburgh Fringe. I should know this festival happens in August. My sister lives in Edinburgh, but I just couldn't remember it. It was like I had a total mind block that day, so I just kept coming up with really stupid answers in that history class, and it was really fun. And my history lecture had a very good sense of humour, so it was a really fun class. I really enjoyed doing the pop quiz in his class. But yeah, have fun with the classes though. Don't be serious all the time. So I got to January and started being very serious in my classes. I started to want to get the perfect marks. I want to really impress my lecturers. And I was starting to not feel the enjoyment with learning anymore. I started to see it more as a stressful thing rather than a fun thing. Um, this challenge aspect was getting too much for me. If I just dropped down to 12 credits when they said, I might have actually relaxed and enjoyed the learning more. But I did get really stressed out of it and started wanting to get the perfect marks in classes and impress my lecturers. But I was just putting too much pressure on myself. So definitely enjoy learning. Don't take it too seriously because, like, yeah, take it seriously from time to time. Like, show you want it and everything. Show you want to get to do well in it and that. But also have fun with learning too. Because at the end of the day, we're only human. We shouldn't take life too seriously because it's good to have a laugh every now and then. This one I think is a big mistake that I think a lot of us have made at some points in our lives. But basically, a lot of students think, oh, if I do this amount of work, if I study during my breaks, if I do all this, I'll really impress the lecturers. When actually, no, you don't impress the lecturers at all. Because if you're never taking breaks and you're always overworking yourself, it means you're not taking care of your health. And that is not a good thing, especially in a mental health course. If anything, this will make the lecturers more concerned because if you're never ever taking a break, it means you're not giving your brain that chance to recharge. You're not taking time um to feed yourself, like eat or drink, or to like just do general everyday things that are crucial to your health. Well, if you take breaks when they say and take the right amount of breaks and do things that are good for your mental health, the lecturers will respect you more and will be less concerned about you. So the way to impress your lecturers is to follow the advice that they give you, not to break it and try and overstudy and do things like that. Because it may seem like you're doing a good, that you're being good by doing more work than your students, but actually it's not a good thing because you're only meant to do a certain amount of work for a reason, so you can look at your health and all that. It's way more important to put your health first before work because there's more to life than just work. You know what I mean? So don't. Society may say, "Oh, you need to do this to do that to do well." Like you have to work all the time and all that, but but you can only do so much work before your mental health deteriorates. So it's really important to put your health before work and to take those regular breaks. And the way for your health not to deteriorate is to take those breaks when you're supposed to care about your health, like to get enough sleep, to eat well, to brush your teeth, brush your hair, all the things that you should be doing to make yourself feel better. Um, and like work shouldn't come anywhere near first. Friends, family, your health, all these things come way before work. So please look after yourself and don't think that not taking those breaks will impress a lecturer because it won't. Impressing a lecturer is following their advice and doing. We don't have to do everything they say. They'll give some advice. And you don't necessarily have to follow all of it, but try and but show that you're willing to look after your health, and they'll really respect you for that. My next regret was not using textbooks enough. Now, I remember having my Waterston's voucher, which my grandma got me a couple of years ago. I used it like on Books Level 5, but then I just spent the rest of the money on other bits and bobs because I had to use the money up. But I really wish I just bought some new books from my HNC, particularly for subjects where they didn't have that much information on my learning. That it would have been a lot more useful. However, I know HNCers will be on campus like once a week, I think, this year. So definitely make use of the library and get textbooks that you need. You don't necessarily need to get textbooks for all the subjects, and you don't necessarily have to get them straight away. But if no assignments are coming up, get the textbooks for those subjects, because it'll come in a lot of use. Having textbooks for each of your, and plus there's some subjects where you have like a key text that you use all year round. So it means you can need to get that book yearly and make use of it all year. Like for example, for sociology, the yearly key text is Haralampus. We use that like all year, and like because it has all the topic areas in it you need for HNC. So yeah, definitely get textbooks. As obviously, and if you get a textbook, I'll tell you this: if you're finding information, don't go to the big bibliography. Go to the index, because if you go to the bibliography, it'll give you like a topic area, but like it'll give you maybe like 20 pages worth of it, which my sociology lecturer showed me. if you go to somebody's biography, it give he showed me like a topic area that, for example, right, it gave like 20 pages worth of it. Well, he flipped over to the index and showed me the key word that we were looking for, which took 20 pages to find, that we found it on the first page right at the bottom. So like, think about it. Imagine skin reading through like 20 pages and find out you could just go to the index and find it on that one page. It saves you a heck of a lot of time. So definitely go to the index, not the biography, because it actually gives you the key words in the index, while the biography just gives you the topic areas. So always go to the back of the book and look at the index, not the biography. Um, I really wish I knew this advice right at the start of the year. I didn't find out till February, but it definitely was a lifesaver when I was like using textbooks. And for like when it comes to computers, if you're looking for a word, if you're like using articles online or using like texts on like the My Learn page, the two keys you need to use to find highlighted words are CTR and L and Shift. And basically, if you press these two together at the same time, you can like type up a word you're looking for, and then it'll highlight the words and all the bits of the text that it's in. And this will cut down a lot of reading time. Say, for example, you're looking for an article that's 50 pages worth. Um, if you find these key text words, you may only have to look for like three pages, for example. And this, again, will save a heck of a lot of time. So definitely, if you're going into HNC in particular, and you can't use like just random articles, because obviously at HNC you have to use relevant resources, definitely take these bits of advice on board. Don't use a biography, flip to the index at the end of the book and use the CTRL and shift keys if you're looking for a specific area or specific words. If you're just generally reading, it's fine, but if you're looking for a specific word and you don't want to be wasting loads of time reading through it all, definitely use the shift keys, particularly if it's a very long like article. Some of the articles we read were like pages and pages long, and it was really annoying because I only found out this advice in like April. If I found it out way earlier in the year, it would have saved me a lot of time. But yeah, definitely take these bits of advice on board because it will really help you when you're doing like research for your essays and that. Another bit of advice I'm going to give that I wish I did more of was like reading texts before I even like um did the assignment. So for example, before you go to bed, maybe just read like a couple articles, maybe one for sociology and history, for example, and just read it. You don't have to properly read it. You can just like skin read through it and see if there's any bits of key information that might help you for your assignment. And if anything, if you're just naturally reading before bed, as reading is not technically studying, it's just kind of like a leisure activity, isn't it? So you just do a bit of reading before bed. Chances are you'll absorb the information better because obviously when you go to sleep, your brain is resting, obviously. So when you wake up, that information is in your head and ready to go, So it's definitely good to like do a wee bit of reading before bed. Also, like I said, it doesn't have to be really intense reading because bedtime's meant for relaxing, but even just doing like a wee bit of reading before bed, it's like just a little skint reading when you're like relaxing can really help observe that information. I wish I did more of it. Like I did read some articles that I was given, like I was always given cancelling articles for like homework, so I'd be reading through them all the time. But I wish I did more reading before actually doing the essay, because I find that I'd always read the articles, the textbooks, but I find that I'd read them and jump straight to essay writing with reading at the same time, which doesn't work. You're better to do the readings beforehand and then go on to the essay and add the information in. And it's better to read it like a couple of times because you might end up missing key information you really need for it, since you're not necessarily going to pick up all the information straight away. So definitely do your readings thoroughly before actually getting into the assignment. My next regret is not like getting the references together properly before actually writing the essay. This is really important. Say, for example, you find a really, really good article online that works well. Like, for example, certain websites you can't reference them due to them not being at HNC level or not them being like appropriate like for referencing, if you see what I mean. But some websites you can reference. If you can reference a website, make sure you get the link together straight away and get all the information together, like the title, the article, the date of the article, when the article got published, and all that blah blah blah, and make sure it's all in order and properly done, since your references have to be quite firm when you get into HNC. But they will give you a lot of help in this. They'll give you reference workshops and on like the the websites that you get for college, they'll have like websites where you can actually learn how to reference. Our college had this, and I'm sure other colleges would as well. On the My Learning page, I'm not sure if all the colleges call it that, but there is a My Learning page which gives you help with like referencing and stuff like that. But like, yeah, it's important to know the difference between a book reference and like a reference for like um an online reference. Come to me eventually. At uni, I don't think you can actually use online references, but you can HNC. But basically, you just got to. It takes practice for referencing, it really does, but eventually it will click. I will have to practice it again when I go to university because, like, obviously, it's been a while since I've done referencing now, so it will click. Obviously, it'll click quicker this time since I have done it and learned how to do it, but it's basically there's a very precise order on how you do referencing and how you pull together and that, but you will get the hang of it. But definitely get your references together and get them done properly before you even start writing. And if you find out other references along the way, just make sure you get them properly written up, not just getting the link or the book title, but making sure it's all together, getting all the information you need from that book, or especially for an online resource, because online resources can like change all the time, or they can even like disappear after a while and get taken off the web page. So it's really important to have website references in particular done properly. When it comes to book references, it's not so much an issue because you have the book on you anyway, or it comes off the college page. You'll easily be able to go back to that anyway. But online references, you definitely need to make sure that they're referenced properly together, because there's been times where I've took ages to find the references again. There's been times where I've lost references and end up having to use new ones because I can't find the information anymore because I didn't reference it properly. So definitely reference it properly as soon as you get it, because it'll save you a lot of time and a lot of stress as well. Last thing I regret is putting my work way before health. Definitely do not put your work before health. Your health always becomes first 110% of the time. It doesn't matter how much work you have to do on this HNC course. I know like assessments pile up one after another, but your health always comes first. There's always the possibility of asking for extensions if you get overwhelmed with the essay or there's too much going on in your life at the moment. They understand because the stress of HNC is so overwhelming. Obviously, it's important to like manage your time well and do your work as you go. But like things do happen. The lecturers get this, so definitely ask for additional time if you need it, and just don't put too much stress on yourself. Like I said, your health always comes before work. If you meet a mental health day, to like let your brain switch off. Definitely take some time away from the computers and take time for yourself. Like I used to always have a mental health day on a Wednesday. Every Wednesday I would do no work at all. And I find when it came to the Thursday for tutorials, my brain was a lot more fresher. I was feeling a lot more up for doing work. While I didn't have that mental health day on the Wednesday, I would have felt really worn out because like I was working like so much on the Monday and Tuesday with like classes all day. Like it would have been too much to do on the Thursday since I've got task after task to do on the Thursday. But yeah, it's really important you put your health first. And like I was getting to a point that I wasn't looking after my health at all. I was not eating breakfast in the morning at times. I wasn't getting enough sleep at times, like delaying my sleep so that I can do more work. I wasn't taking full breaks. I was taking breaks, but it'd be like 2 minutes every now and then. That's not enough to process information. I was doing things to my health, which meant I wasn't doing very well in my assessments for a long time. When I started to put my health first and actually spoke out, I actually started to do really well in my assignments and started to pass some of them even first time. So that's why it's so important to put your health first. And me putting my health first towards the end meant that I was able to get my B in my HNC, which I was very, very happy with. But I could have ended up not getting a grade I was happy with if I kept putting my work before health. So it's really important to put your health before work, because you'll do just as well even if you put your health first, if not even better if you put your health over work, since you're looking after yourself. And let us say less is definitely more. Study smart, not hard. The person who does like just 2 hours of studying evening is more likely to do better than the person who does 6 hours of study evening, because they're taking those essential breaks to look after their mental health. Thank you to everyone for watching this blog on my regrets of like my college life in general. I hope you guys enjoyed this and you learned a lot from it. I was going to do like a post on this, but I thought it'd better probably to do a blog on this, since I haven't really done a blog that's like college or autism related in a while. It's been a lot of fun blogs at the moment, so I thought it better to do a blog for this because like I can share more information at blog than what I could in like an Instagram post where I can only put like 10 pictures together at once. So I thought this would be the best auction. But yeah, thanks so much to everyone who voted for this auction, and I'll be doing the other auctions on the question thing as well. So if you're the thing you wanted me to blog or post about, I didn't do it. I will do it at some point. I'll be doing nothing but college posts till the end of August, and I'm going to do a live video gathering all your questions and comments together, and then I'm gonna like comment on them all and just have a chat with you guys in general. But I hope you guys enjoyed this blog. Bye for now.